Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my March reading possibilities. As a disclaimer, I might read some of these books, I might read all of these books, I might read none of these books. I am a mood reader, so I just like to preface with that. But yeah, these are kind of just the books I'll reach for first. So I will just hop right in. First, I'll talk about my in-person book club books because these have a higher probability of being read. And the first one I have is The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This, I believe, was published in 2025, so it's a recent release, sort of, which is different for me because I usually read backlist. But this book is written in letters, and I believe we're following Sybil, and she is a 70-something-year-old woman, and we're seeing the letters that she writes to different people, her family, her friends. I think she even writes one to like an author of a book she read or something. And it's through these letters that we get a glimpse into her life. And I think it's through these letters she makes sense of life. And so I think it's going to be like, hopefully like a heartwarming read. I know there is a letter. It says that she writes a letter to someone who doesn't write back. So I'm intrigued by that. And I'm guessing it might be a little bit of love or something because we have these two birds on the cover. We'll see. We'll see what it is. But I think this could be a cute little read. And then for my other in-person book club, we're going to be reading Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I've never read anything by V.E. Schwab. I don't even know what this is really about. But it says that three young women, their bodies planted in the same soil, their stories tangling like roots. One grows high, and one grows deep, and one grows wild, and all of them grow teeth. So I'm intrigued. Looking at the inside flap, it looks like these are happening, like maybe these three women all live in different times and in different places. Like it says 1532 in Spain, we have 1827 London, 2019 Boston, USA. So it looks like they all happen in different times. So I'm interested to see what this is about and how the stories all connect. And yeah, so this is the other book I plan on reading in March. Then, if you watched my February wrap up, you know I read Gail Jones for the first time last month. Absolutely loved her book, Courage Eudora, and I just couldn't wait to pick up something else. So this month I would like to read Eva's Man by Gail Jones. One thing I loved about what she did in Courage Eudora was I love how she played with memory and time. And in this, we're following Eva. Eva has been imprisoned for murdering her lover. And while she's in prison, she is looking back on her life, on the abuse that she has faced. And it says that Eva's memory and sense of self are disintegrating. So I'm so interested to see how she puts this story together, especially with a character that I'm assuming is going insane. And so I'm just very, very excited for this. Then I have The Feast of All Saints by Anne Rice. I have never read anything by Anne Rice. I think she might be most known for Interview with a Vampire. I think that's a series. I think it's also like a movie or something too. But I don't think this has any like supernatural aspect to it. But in this, we're following the free people of color in pre-Civil War Louisiana. And the free people of color were Creole people. They're mixed race, African, and usually like French or Spanish. And we are getting a glimpse into their life, how they were not quite as, they were seen as like better than enslaved blacks, but they were still seen lower than like the lowest in white society. And so it says that they were caught perilously between the worlds of master and slave, privilege and oppression, passion and pain. So this is a chunker, but I think it's gonna be interesting. I also want to watch this movie. This was made into a movie, and the movie has so many like heavy hitter, like black classic actors and actresses like Jasmine Guy, Victoria Raoul, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee. Like, I think Robert Richard, like so many hard-hitting like actors are in this movie. So I want to read the book and then watch the movie after I finish it. Then I have A Novel Without a Name by Duong Du Huang. I'm not pronouncing that right, probably. This book is described as the Vietnam War version of All Quiet on the Western Front. All Quiet on the Western Front by Eric Maria Ramah is one of my favorite books. In that book, we have a World War I soldier. We're in World War I and we're seeing it from the perspective of a German soldier. And in this, we are looking at the Vietnam War from the perspective of a Vietnamese soldier. And so I'm very intrigued by this. Also, the writing says like, I wrote this for Billy. This is the type of writing she likes. They wrote this writing for me. So it says, I listened all night to the wind howl through the gorge of lost souls. Endless moans punctuated by sobs. From time to time it whinnied like a mare in heat, whistling through the broken shafts of the bamboo roof above me, sweeping through the countryside in a Maccabi symphony of sound. So I think the writing in this is going to be top tier, at least from the first paragraph. But yes, this is another one. And then I have, did I mention I was trying to read mostly female authors? So all these books have been by female authors, and I've tried to pick a diverse group, sort of. So next I have The Feast by Margaret Kennedy. Margaret Kennedy was a British author. And in this, we have this inn that falls off a cliff, and some of the guests survive and some of the guests do not. But it says that it's anything but arbitrary who survives and who doesn't. And all of the guests represent one of the 7 deadly sins. So I'm just very intrigued by the concept of this book, and I'm interested to see how the author kind of weaves in the attributes of the 7 deadly sins into the characters. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. And then also I read a little bit of this, like the first few pages, and it seems a little like cheeky, like it has like some light humor. So I'm interested in, so I think it's going to be like a little funny. So I'm excited for this as well. And then, like I said, in my last TBR video or reading possibilities video, I am doing a reading challenge. Each month there is a reading prompt, and you guys were so helpful in helping me pick a book for that last month that I thought you could help me again. So the prompt for March is a classic you've been meaning to read. And this is where I'm kind of diverting from my female authors, just because all these authors happen to be men, but I've been really wanting to read a Russian classic. And so I have 3 here to choose from. The first is Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. I'm hoping I can make it through this. From what I know about this, it's about a man who has an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl. So I'm hoping I'm not like too grossed out and can't finish it, but I think it's funny on the back. It says, the only convincing love story of our century. But it also says it's a meditation on love as outrage and hallucination, madness and transformation. So I'm very intrigued to read this. I did want to read the first paragraph just because I feel like this is one of the best opening. I feel like it's just one of the best openings in a book. So he says, Lolita, light of my life, fire of my loins, my sin, my soul, Lolita. The tip of the tongue, taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to tap at 3 on the teeth, Lolita. She was low, playing low in the morning, standing 4 feet 10 in 1 sock. She was Lola in slacks. She was Dolly at school. She was Dolores on the dotted line. But in my arms, she was always Lolita. So I just think that's such a great opening. If I didn't know he was talking about like a a young girl, I would think like that was beautiful. Like, but this is one option. My second option, I own so many books by Dostoevsky and I haven't read him at all, but I feel like I'm gonna like his writing. I just don't know why I haven't picked that one. So I was trying to pick which one to read first, and I came to Crime and Punishment. It says that it's a murder story told from a murderer's point of view. And from what I've heard about this book, it makes you think about, like, is a crime depending on who commits it? And just like something maybe that you thought was black and white, maybe certain things you might think are more in the gray in this. That's the impression I get from when I've heard people talk about this. But yes, this is my second option. And then finally, my third option, I have Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I don't know much about this book. I probably would get a different edition though, because look at these margins. But from what I do know, it's about a woman who, I think it's a woman who has an affair or something. And it's just about like marriage and family dynamics and relationships. But reading you the first sentence or so, it says, happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Everything was in confusion in the Oblonsky's house. The wife had discovered that the husband was carrying on an intrigue with a French girl who had been a governess in their family, and she had announced to her husband that she could not go on living in the same house with him. So it starts with drama, and I'm here for it. So I think this will be, while it is long, I don't think the writing will be difficult to understand or digest as it will be in something like a Dostoevsky. But I'm open to any of them. Which one do you think I should read? Should I read Anna Karenina, Crime and Punishment, or Lolita? Let me know in the comments. Cast your vote. You guys gave great recommendations last month, and I'm here for them this month. So yeah, those are all the things I'm looking at possibly reading in March. Are there any books you're planning on reading this month? Let me know. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.